Holy Spirit. So this is not a long one. It's pretty short. Putting in some imagery here. So the simplest is the profoundest. And I'm going to be saying a lot of the same things in different ways. It's just this, we have to drill it in. Now, I mentioned this to, I think, Sundar. I was in marketing and sales. I still am for about over 10 years. One of the interesting studies in marketing and sales is you have to see a message at least 12 to 13 times before you even take an action off of an advertisement is one of the studies that they found. So you'll see this, we're going to be doing a lot of redundancy, but it's very, very good. So simplest is the profoundest. Manifestation, we're building memory in advance. The memory personified is your identity. How we do this is translating a thought into an emotion. That's the simplest part of doing this. The simplest way of saying this. The greater the emotion, stronger the memory. Stronger the memory, the greater it changes your identity. And as your identity changes, that's when the reality will change. So what the message here is, you're looking for changes in your identity, not necessarily outside is good, but no, acknowledging that this has to change for this to change. The observer and the observed are one and the same. The longer you focus on a memory, the more it will grow. Eventually, it will bear the fruit, which is the desires we get to enjoy. So the power to manifest is emotion. Emotion is the woman, electric, magnetic. Woman is the Shakti, which is the power. Emotion is power. Child equals pure emotion. And look at that child's face. That is pure emotion, unfiltered by any adult concepts, just raw. And that's what we're looking to tap into. So you have, many of you know Lalita Tripura Sundari, her child version is Bala. You have Shiva has Muruga. You have all, so there's a symbolism behind this child. It's that pureness, that raw power. So find your joy. Joy, gratitude, and excitement, awe. This is the end result of a thought being realized. It's one thing to think of a dream house. It's another thing to experience the joy after shaking hands with the previous owner and stepping in the front door for the very first time. Now that it's yours, that is a whole different experience from thinking up here to that end result, the byproduct of finally realizing it. That's what we're looking to tap into. By the way, I just found this out yesterday. Sooner you might be interested. This picture right here, they're now starting to create, you can buy your own island, a man-made island that's like a mansion. It's $1 billion. There's concept pictures. I'm like, dude, I gotta have one of these. So I thought that would be interesting to share this. And then of course you have the other one. Yeah. So you can make your own, it's like a floating yacht, or you can have your yacht parked outside. Anyways, pretty cool. It's one thing to think of marrying your dream person. It's another thing to experience the joy at the moment when they say, I do. That's when it becomes real. Side note, did you see that? Now, Shiva Lata was just talking about this. Notice how the images gave the words meaning. Notice how they made you feel. The images are what define a memory. It gives a memory definition. They are how you know it is real. Seeing is believing, or even better, seeing is feeling. So imagination, image in Asian. Asian is a suffix, which is the action of or process of doing something. So it's a process of imaging. It's imagination. Humans are visual beings, where dogs, they see with their nose. Have you ever heard that expression before? It's the reason the majority of our communication between each other is body language, is 55%. So all the senses, sights and scenes are the most associated with our memories. Nama Rupa. This is a Sanskrit concept. Nama is name. Nama is also the mental, the sound form. Rupa is the physical. It's the wave to particle. Collapsing the wave potential into particle reality. It's quantum physics stuff. So imagination, imaging. Images are real. Imagination is real. Traumatize yourself. This is so Shilata mentioned she had a light bulb go off with this. I also have someone who had a light bulb go off with this, so maybe more people as well. You traumatize yourself with a childlike joy. The trauma memories leave the deepest imprint. Trauma is an emotional shock associated with a physical event. Shock, what does that mean? Extraordinary contrast, something that you were not expecting. It's surprising. You have to just get into that. You are here, and now you just realize that incredible manifestation, the shock of like, going from this to like that. Wow, incredible. You have to get into that. And if you're an actress like Shivalata, or we have to train ourselves to be like actor. If Baba talked about fake it till you make it. It's being that version of yourself. You have to get into that role. And so traumatizing with the childlike joy. So what about millionaire I am? Can you connect to intense joy? What suffering does it? Because typically that contrast is built from this huge backup of buildup of suffering, and then that release of pressure. Oh my God, it's over. I have the freedom, or I finally have this, or whatever that is. What can you connect to your millionaire reality, being a millionaire? How can you connect that to some extreme joy? I want you to think about this and reflect on what does that enable you to do? What does that enable you to relieve? There's something there for each one of us. There's more, there could be one, there could be multiple things, but keep it simple and then expand upon it. Might be interesting to write this down, but this is a way to, because remember, it's simplest is the profoundest. If we can find that joy and get to that inner child, which she a lot to talk about, she's seeing images of herself. That's the way she's doing it. Fantastic. Teach yourself. When I say teach yourself, you're teaching your body as well, because every time you feel joy, you're releasing chemicals that condition your body, meaning your body becomes more and more familiar with the state of joy. It's learning. And the goal is eventually joy becomes a natural state. So you're no longer having to engineer joy. Joy is natural state. So the great saint Sri Ramana Maharishi, in a similar line of thought, he was sitting in front of an audience meditating as he does. And he was just sitting there listening to the audience. Some guy was talking about how he has a problem of getting his thoughts to stop. And Sri Ramana Maharishi, he opened his eyes and he started talking. He says, "Hey, I have that same problem too." He says, and the guy says, "Sir, you've been meditating for like 40 years. How can you possibly, what hope does that have for us?" He says, "No, you don't understand. My problem is I can't get a thought to come in because he's conditioned himself to the point where thinking is no longer normal. It's not a state." So in the same line of thought, we have to become that with joy. And look at the pictures of the babies. That's the joy we're going into. Look at this baby's face. Raw joy without the adulthood, just innocent. So bringing it all together, thought/concept plus emotion equals memory. The more the emotion, the more traumatizing, and the deeper the imprint. The inner child is your raw joy generator. It gives life to the thoughts. That's what the thing with the female is. It gives life. It's the life-giving principle. So where the man is the static non-existence, it is the emotion that gives life to the thoughts and the concepts of the static principle, which is just a field of potential. How that potential gets differentiated and brought to life is through the woman. So teach yourself how to engineer joy, and your brain and body will adapt. Your memory is defined as imagination. Defined, it gives definition. It becomes something. Images are a tool to collapse a thought into something that we can associate with and relate to and generate meaning. Seeing helps humans cultivate the emotions because seeing is how we process information. The subconscious speaks in symbols. And again, Shiolate started out by saying she starts seeing images of her child, and she has such a meaning associated with that it cues her to feel joy. So acknowledging how powerful images are. Another way that I've been using this is when you're doing your imaging, especially when you're doing your reinforcements during the day, you can come up with a couple of what I'm calling core memories. Core memories are things that are like, when you translate millionaire I am, what does that look like? What are some of the core things that you can know? If I see that I know that's a marker that I'm a millionaire. So like I see my bank balance is one of my core memories. Or I see myself on my yacht is another core memory that I have. That's how I'm measuring. That's how I'm defining. And the images are what's defining it for me. You see? So it's just something to think about, something to roll around. We're trying to keep this really simple. Thoughts, emotions, imagery. So finally, remember, we acknowledge the simplest is the profoundest. We acknowledge our goal is mastering the basics. The basics are the simple things that create the biggest change. The basics. Habit is showing up, being present, being receptive. You're open to receive. This is another important thing. It's not enough to show up. You have to be open to receive. So it can go in and get that imprint and focus. Listen to everything like your life depends on hearing every word, every single syllable. You're challenging yourself. Every syllable. Can I stay the tune? It's all encoded with energies. The more you listen is indicative of that you are more receptive. There's a one-to-one correlation by listening and receiving. The more you listen, the deeper it's going to go. It's going to leave a deeper imprint and therefore have the greatest impact. So when you are spending 20, 25 minutes of your precious time, you are getting the absolute most out of that time by allowing yourself to have the deepest imprint happen. So you're not wasting your time. Master the basics and reap the reward. You become the golden star on the earth plane. You bring heaven to earth. You're the golden being, which is another imagery that I've been having myself during the day is just like Shivalata was saying, she sees a baby. I will see myself as a golden light being, and that automatically lets me know I'm a millionaire. I automatically feel the feelings with that as well. And all that one little symbol, because symbols are like zip files. They're packets of information. So images are like these symbols. If you can use some imagery, sometimes I'll see a gold light in between my two eyes. That alone is millionaire I am and joy rolled up into one because that's how it's been programmed in. And we've been doing this meditation. We're programming that golden light that you come in, integrate that, and you become a golden star while you're on the earth. That imagery is something you can play with and try to remember and recall to get you into that state because you want to stay there during the day. So homework is the same. I'm going to repeat it. As soon as you wake up while you're laying in bed, start your day with Millionaire I Am and feel joy. You can also see the gold light as well. You do the millionaire identification audio immediately after getting up, challenging yourself to be present and focused, to listen to every syllable of every word, which is indicative that you are in a state of reception, maximizing your time. The last thing you do before you go to sleep, so you carry that into your dreams and your subconscious works Millionaire I Am for you while you're sleeping. You remember Millionaire I Am and translate to joy during the day, in between your two eyebrows, gold light. The more frequently, the better. So use imagery to trigger yourself. Figure out, teach yourself. We're all going to be different. You can try what I'm doing, and if something comes to you while you're trying that, then go with that. But try something. Keep yourself in this identity because the longer you can hold on to that memory, the more the plant's going to grow. Every time you think about it, the plant grows, 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 grows. Listen to the audio loops during the Slack. Millionaire I Am or Millionaire I Am, joy. Or you have the Shri, which is some part of the Shri, which is the beliefs. And this list we did today was updated, so I'll get a new list for that and new audio. You can listen to those as well. Write down on a piece of paper, Millionaire I Am, joy. Put it on your phone. Shivalata shared a picture of her putting on her phone. Fantastic. Put it where you can see it and use it as a symbol to put yourself into that state. That's it. Make this a priority. If it becomes a priority, it becomes non-negotiable. Priority, non-negotiable. Okay. So that's the main segment for the coaching part today. Could be good to re-listen to and drill it in because again, there's gonna be redundancies. We'll be saying it in different ways to penetrate the mind in different ways to get you to remember this stuff verbatim. So when I say, what is manifestation? Oh, manifestation, building memory in advance. Great. How do you do that? Well, I translate a thought into an emotion. Fantastic. That's the simplest thing. What are the basics you have to master to do that? Well, I have to show up. I have to make it into a habit. If I show up enough, it'll become a habit. And while I'm there, if I focus, it's going to go deep and it's going to get the best results. And the byproduct of that is I get results. Habit plus focus is results. These are some of the core things that I want you to have drilled into your brain so that it's just there. So it becomes part of your identity. Then you have a knowingness. Okay, I want the money. So I got to do. You got to make it a priority. Priority means it's not an option. And you know what? We can't wait another second. We have to do this. We have to do this now. because life is too precious. We have too many things to do, too many places to go, too many things to buy, too many experiences to have, too many lives to impact as well.
Mm.
The whole idea is, what my philosophy is, I want to live the stupidest, most outrageous life that is possible as an example for other people, to show you what is the possibility of God, that God is not a bearded, white-haired man with no shirt and no clothes. God is completely outrageous in every aspect. It is the fullness of everything, fully enlightened and living on a yacht or whatever. I mean, this is what we all have to do. And this is the example we're going to set for the world. What is the golden age? This is the golden age. It is destroying the dichotomy and is bringing them both the worlds together, acknowledging God is not poor. God has everything. All the wealth that you can ever acquire is just part of God that you are bringing into your own identity. Let's get it, all of it. Millionaire I am. And then after that, billionaire I am. We're gonna go one step at a time, but we got to get there. So we got to show up. We got to focus. We got to show up. We got to focus. We got to show up. We have to focus. Make it a priority.